All right, let's begin. It's 12 o'clock. This is our weekly info session for passive house construction. Most people don't know about it because I feel like the messaging and education is more geared towards building professionals and not for just, regular homeowners, people who have homes. So today's session is about the basics, the principles of passive house and how that can apply to your home here in the Bay Area. Uh, let's see. Um, okay, so let me go to the next slide. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Cheryl, and I have about 18 years of experience here working in the building industry in construction management, and my professional training is in architecture. Um, let's see. Oh, someone's here. Okay, so thank you for joining me today. I was just introducing myself. I see that Ben has joined. Hello.
Hi,
Um,
Cheryl.
Hi. Thanks for joining me. So, yeah, so today's session is about the principles of passive house, and I was talking about how this type of construction is mainly most the people that know about it are architects, engineers, and contractors, and most homeowners don't know about it. So I hope to give you an overview of how this could apply to your home project, or maybe in the future if you're looking to remodel a home to create a more healthy environment for your family. Um, the way I think about it is we can take we can drive electric cars, or we have electric cars that are available, and we build rockets to go into outer space. But the way we're building homes is as if we were 100 years ago or 200 years ago, when we were driving around with horses and wagons. So um yeah, so at the end of this presentation, if you have questions or you're interested in how passive house construction can apply to you, you can let me know, or there'll be my contact information there. So let's move on here. So today shouldn't take too much time, maybe 20 minutes of your time, but I'll talk about the 5 key principles for creating a passive house and how that will benefit you and your family. And this applies to new construction and also remodeling existing homes. So what is passive house? So even though the name house is in it, it actually applies to all building types. And the term passive is a design principle that was created, when mankind, first started building buildings and homes and shelters. We would build homes around the patterns of the sun and the weather, and it was in relation to the environment. Um, but now with the invention of indoor lighting and heating, we moved away from that passive design principle. So in the 70s, here in the United States, the passive design movement came back. But actually in the 90s, there was a German scientist who created these standards to help, go back to that environmental interaction and how to build homes and set a standard that we could reduce our energy loads and have maintain comfortable indoor temperatures even when the outdoor temperatures are extreme, like they are now in California. We're going through another heat wave, and there's like excessive heat warnings keep coming up on my phone, and I don't know wherever you're at, you might be getting those too. So our climate is changing, whether we accept that or not. So here's a quick video to kind of go over the overview of Passive House. Let's see here.
Passive House explained in 90 seconds. Does your house have a heater in the basement or maybe a fireplace? Probably also a central air conditioner or maybe a window unit. Did you ever wonder if it was necessary? In 1991, Dr. Wolfgang Feist built the first passive house in Germany based on research from all over the world. Here's what he did. 1. Proper insulation. It's just like wearing the right winter jacket. It also doesn't need a heater. 2. No air leakages. There should be no holes, small or large, to let warm air out of the house. 3. No thermal bridges. A thermal bridge is like a road for heating energy in which warmth can travel right through your walls. As a matter of fact, most of our houses have thermal highways in our walls where heat can easily travel to the outside. Plus, the house needs proper windows, most of the time with triple pane glass, and it needs to be oriented properly so the sun can heat it in the winter and the shade is provided in the summer. And it uses an HRV, a device that provides the inside with fresh air without letting the heat out. Add all these things up, and it turns out your house doesn't need a heater or an air conditioner. So where does the heat come from? A passive house needs 90% less energy, and that can easily be supplied by your body heat, the sun, your appliances, light bulbs, and even your TV. This saves you a lot of money on your heating bill and helps preserve the environment.
Did we make it in 90 seconds? You bet we did.
Great. So that's just a quick video, and I'll go through those components that were mentioned. So the first principle is that winter jacket. So creating a thicker layer of insulation. It's almost similar to if you think of a cooler, it keeps your cold drinks cold, and it usually has that thick a thick container, a thick layer of insulation to help keep the cold air inside. So how this applies to buildings is when you have that thick insulation, you keep the warm air inside when you want it in the winter, and then during the summer you would keep your cool air inside with the insulation. So here are examples of, in the case of maybe a remodel, you can place insulation on the interior side, and this is a product called Rockwool. Or for new construction, or depending on your climate, you could install the insulation on the outside of your home. So passive house, the difference between this and a regular home, like code here in California requires like wall insulation to be R15, R19, where passive house can go up to R45 or even R60, and the insulation would be on your ceiling and foundation. The next principle is airtight construction. So what this does is it creates a barrier, continuous barrier around your whole house. So if you think of like a rocket or a car, when you close the door, you have an airtight container, and this allows the reduction of drafts, and it acts as like a windbreaker and reduces moisture and the heat loss, and not to mention pests, tiny ants from getting through little crevices in your home. So the way this is is measured in passive houses. Once the air barrier is applied, in this case, they're showing it like an interior air barrier. There's a blower door test where you would basically blow air into the home, into the front door, and see where it leaks out, and make any corrections where any holes are found. So the next principle is eliminating thermal bridges. So that's where passive house separates from regular construction. Is we're looking at the entire building envelope as your thermos or your Yeti cooler, and to ensure that a consistent thermal properties of your whole building. So and actually heat can escape through certain materials like metal, whether it's nails or clips, or maybe you have framing for a balcony. Those are points where heat can pass through, and the goal is to create that consistent layer. Because where there's inconsistencies could cause moisture to build up, and also mold, potential places for mold to grow. So if you're not aware, actually 70% of buildings have mold because they're not built with these types of standards. And as you know, mold can contribute to a variety of respiratory illnesses, including increased rate of asthma. So this is where, the healthy environment this is a big factor. And then the fourth principle is the high performance windows. So these are, if you think of the cooler again, if there were holes in the cooler, if you wanted a window to see what, what you had inside there, that would be a potential point for the air or the temperature to leak out. So the windows being more high performance, and like normally we see like single pane windows here in California, but for a passive house you'd want to upgrade those windows to maybe a triple pane. Well, because we are in a temperate climate, if you have proper shading, you could even go down to maybe a double pane window. So this high performance windows, they help combine, or create the air tightness of your building or your home, and it adds to the quiet environment. Once you close that window, you can block out traffic, airplanes, a lot of noise through that. And then the fifth principle was mentioned in the video, was the mechanical ventilation, or the HRV. This is a picture of a heat recovery ventilator. And what this does, this is like the lungs of your home or building, and it creates that because you have that airtight barrier, you need this mechanical component to take out all the stale air and filter the fresh air coming in. What's nice about this type of ventilator is it actually controls the humidity level of your interior environment. So during the winter, when the air gets dry, humidity levels inside a regular house can go as low as 25%, but actually the healthy range is 40 to 50% humidity levels, because you want to prevent that dry air that can cause dry skin, or the dehydrated mucous membranes that could make you get sick easier. So I mean, that's pretty much it. A quick overview of the 5 principles of passive house. In summary, it's passive house methods empower us to build better, turn outdated homes into durable, resilient buildings that can cut down energy use and carbon emissions. And I forgot to mention that due to the air tightness requirements in passive house, that actually helps with fireproofing your home, and preventing embers from getting in through vents, because of the more higher standard of components that are required in a passive home. So it's something to keep in mind, you know, if you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on your home remodel or addition, now would be a good time to incorporate these building components to improve the resilience of your home, filter out the harmful particulate matter or allergens in the air, and not to mention reduce your monthly fees on energy costs. And recently I've been looking into rebates that are available from the state of California and our energy provider, Pacific Gas and Electric. They're offering incentives and up to like $5,000 on replacing gas appliances and converting your home to all electric. So if that's something you're interested in or you have some questions, please feel free to reach out or schedule a call with me. Okay, so if there's any questions, you can let me know or feel free to send me an email. All right, thank you and have a great day.